You haven't actually talked a lot about the mystery angle of all of this. A little bit, you've touched on it now. But how do you balance the mystery and the requirements for people who think they're reading mysteries and crime fiction with the, not agendas, but the beliefs you have, the characters you want to present and all of that? Where does the mystery come in?
Are you asking about the percentage split between time devoted to solving the mystery versus the other elements going on in the novel?
More the emotional split.
Okay, so what you're actually asking is about character, I think. I think you're asking about character versus plot, in a sense, because one of the things as a mystery writer, one of your challenges is that you must write suspense. I'm not saying that every mystery novel is a suspense novel, but you must manipulate your pace so that the person feels the suspense and or danger and or, you know, at every step, but at the same time building compelling characters who behave in character. So there. I don't have any answers. How about you guys?
Well, I think that, you know, it again goes to speak to the wide range of mysteries that are available. I mean, I personally believe that every great book, literary fiction or otherwise, has a mystery in it.
And romance.
And a romance. There's always something in there that you don't know at the beginning of the book as a reader that you want to find out. Whether or not that involves a dead body or a crime or not, I think that, you know, that's a critical element of every book. Because otherwise, as a reader, if you're not discovering something, then it doesn't necessarily speak to you. My books do tend to be a little bit more on the plot side. It's tough to work in a ton of character development when there's always this beating clock in the background, which is really important for thrillers. So much of it for me is the pacing and trying to squeeze in as much character development as I can while they're running for their lives.
Okay, I should have started this way. There are certain genres and subgenres that do have specific expectations. For instance, in romantic suspense, it's widely agreed that the suspense is 50%, and the romantic element is the other 50%. If you're talking about noir fiction, sometimes we don't really even have to have a crime. So it's a different expectation. And in noir fiction, it's also not always essential to have mystery. So it's really, there are expectations that go along with genres too. Is there something specific that you're wondering about? Are you writing a book? Or?
Of course. Just on the one hand, I'm interested in the mystery of my story, and I think that's very important, but I think the more important part is the characters and what they discover about the mystery of themselves. I don't know if that sounds too woo-woo, but and I just wondered how you get, if it's a mystery, we want something to go wrong, we want someone to be dead, we want something to be stolen or about to be, or something like that. It might be a secret, and we want to go through the steps to find a resolution. As somebody said, it's black and white, but it seems like all of you and in a lot of books I've read, it's more interesting to see what's going on in people's head than the resolution. How do you deal with that?
Well, go ahead, Julie.
I just wanted to say, I mean, for me, I think that working in the mystery genre or crime fiction makes it easier for me, because there's nothing that clarifies character as much as a crime, a person's reaction to a crime, it's the heightened emotions that Sophie talked about earlier. To me, that it's all about character. I love character and character development, and I feel like my books are mostly about characters, but there's always a mystery crime plot, and that plot gives me an opportunity to drive my characters crazy, which is what we all like to do, and then have them work through personal issues, friendship issues, whatever, as part of that plot, and not in a heavy-handed way, hopefully, but you know, with some finesse. The way that somebody responds to crisis points in their life, I think, is very indicative of character, and that's to me why crime fiction can be so deep, because really you have these wonderfully deep, complex situations that you're putting people in, and they have to make moral responses. They have to, you know, it's reflective of who they are at a very deep level. So I think that there's a whole plot basis, and you know, you need, in most classic mystery, you need a dead body, you need a crime, you need motivation, that sort of thing, and that's all going to be, you're spinning that out over the course of the novel. But I think your main characters are all reacting to all of those stages in ways that reflect who they are, that show who they are.
I would like to see if we can get a couple more questions in, and then I want to leave time for these guys to talk about what's next for them. So, and we'll get you too.
Hi, so I'm writing a mystery novel, and I find that I keep struggling with like the evidence and clues and when to reveal stuff or when to hold things back. And I was wondering how you guys have managed to sort of balance that in your story, you know, to keep the pacing going.
And did you say a PI novel? I missed
Oh,
that.
no, I'm writing a mystery novel.
A mystery novel. Okay, what's that one?
I read this guy, Robert Rosenberg, and the thing that he said about that was the best thing to do is to spill the beans, and that way you make more beans. More beans are generated in your story by spilling the beans. Way too many times I see student work where there's like something critical that they're holding back, and as a reader, it really shows that they're trying to make a mystery by holding it back, and it can be really confusing and frustrating as a reader. So in a lot of ways, I think, you know, get as much information in as you can, and then more cool mystery and information will generate as a result of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think classically a book starts with one idea and you build into that idea, and especially with a mystery, you're dropping little seeds all the way through it. I'm going to say seeds. I'm going with seeds. That being said, every book really, you know, especially a mystery, I think should have a classic 3-act structure. And, you know, you want to make it so that you don't have this huge information dump at the end. Nothing irks me more than having like the final chapter where there are two people sitting around a, you know, drawing room saying like, well, of course, and we knew that after that he must have been, you know, and and they dump everything at the end. And that's a really classic mistake that I think a lot of first-time writers make. You do need to, you know, I also think it's exhausting for a reader if they don't find out anything until the very end. You need to parse it out. But that being said, there are some really excellent books on writing mysteries. I know James Scott Bell has one. I think it's called The Art of the Mystery or something. I mean, it's a great book, and that would definitely be worth reading. There are a lot of wonderful how-to books out there.
We always put a plug in for Stephen King's, always, on writing. Can we do yours quick? Is yours a quick question?
I just wanted to say also, just in terms of the last question, that another way to do it other than reading how-to books is read a lot of mysteries and read them and outline them while you read them. And your favorite authors, how they drop clues. And actually go back and read, you know, deconstruct the books that you love. That's a great way to learn.